Okay, how's it going, guys? Edgar here with Yu-Gi Knights of the Round, and as promised, I am bringing you my poor man's version of the Blue Eyes White Dragon deck. I gave myself a budget of $50. I was originally trying to make this at least $30 or maybe $40, but to make a viable Blue Eyes deck, I did $50. And this deck came at $49 and some change, so we're barely scratching the surface, almost getting there, almost passing the budget. But luckily, this deck, not too bad. I've played it on White Go. On White Go Pro. It's a little slower than a full Prime Blue Eyes deck, but that's just to be expected. And again, I went with all the cheapest prices on TCG. I put the price to low to high, so I just added the cheapest version of all of them. And so let's go ahead and get into this deck profile, okay? Starting off, you're gonna want obviously 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons. And surprisingly enough, the secret rare Blue Eyes White Dragon, like this one, this specific version is the cheapest one of Blue Eyes. There's like 30 prints of Blue Eyes in common, but the cheapest one on TCG right now is this secret rare version from the collector's tip. Can you believe that? Alright, so we want 3 of those. 3 Dragon Spirit of White. And another thing I found out, the ultra rare version of Dragon Spirit of White is like the same price as the common one. So you go ahead and pick yourself which one you want. I just picked the cheapest one, which were the ultra rare, surprisingly. So you're gonna run 3 of those. Okay, and this is gonna be a big chunk of our budget. 2 Blue Eyes Chaos Max. They're about $5 each, so right there, 1/5 of our budget went to these 2 cards. And they're very powerful. And then once you get these guys on the field, it's hard for your opponent to get over. It's not the sole purpose of this deck, but it's just a backup plan. And when you have this guy on the field, like I said, your opponent has to waste a lot of resources to get rid of this Blue Eyes Max. Right? 2 King of the D, and make sure you guys get the ultra rare versions and not the secret rare versions. The secret ones are more expensive than the ultras, even though they come from the same box. But these are the ones that are guaranteed to come in with every box. So that's why these ones are less, because there's more of them. So you're going to go ahead and get 2 the King of the D, 2 Light Pulsars. There's only Ultra and Ultimate rarities for these, so they're a little bit expensive. Like I believe they're $2 a piece or $1, I can't really remember. $1.50, but you're going to run 2 Light Pulsars. I'll explain why I have that one. 2 White Stone of Ancients. Again, this one comes like in 3 different rarities, and they're all kind of like the same price. So again, just pick the one. I think the cheapest one was the ultra rare. So you're gonna run 2 White Stone of Ancients, 2 Projection Princesses. Now this is our discount Manju, the 10,000 hands. Like Manju, you can summon him and then search for a ritual or ritual monster. Well, with this princess, you set her, and she has a flip effect. Once you flip her, you can add 1 ritual spell card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So she helps us search for ritual cards, or events, ritual arts, or chaos forms. They're in the graveyard or in the deck. Flip her and just add them to our hand. So 2 of her. 2 Keeper of the Shrines, a better version of Kaiser Seahorse, because it counts for 2 tributes for a dragon monster, which majority of our dragons are a little late, so he's perfect, and he floats, so obviously that's why we have him in here. Assault Wyvern just lets you help summon your Blue Eyes. If you destroy a monster, you can special summon a dragon from your hand. Eclipse Wyvern. I'll explain this one here in a bit. There's also a second strategy to this deck, and that involves Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. It's a very powerful card if you're not familiar with it. And again, you can get this guy's really cheap if you go for the common one. It's like 40 cents, 50 cents. And that's why we have Eclipse Wyvern, because we have a strategy in this deck to toss Eclipse Wyvern to the graveyard. Wyvern's effect activates. When this is into the graveyard, you banish a level 7 or higher Dark Dragon or Light Dragon. So you pick him, banish him. And then when Eclipse Wyvern gets banished from your graveyard, which this deck will help you do, you can bring him to your hand. So that's how you search for your Red MD. Effect Veiler, really expensive surprisingly. $2 for the common version. That kind of surprised me. Chaos Sorcery, just to help you banish your Eclipse Wyvern. And that's why we have Light Pulsar as well in this deck. Light Pulsar can banish one light and dark monster. That's why you're always going to banish your Eclipse Wyvern to get that red MD. Triple trade-in. You have a lot of level 8s in this deck, so trade-in helps you draw them. Discard and then draw 2. This is your draw engine. A lot of revival in this deck. Dragon, Revival, Rhapsody. For starters, that's why we have King of the D. Activate King of the D. You have a lot of spell cards in this deck, so we have plenty of fodder for his effect. And then bring out Revival. You have King of the D, he's your spellcaster on the field, and then you get to summon two dragons. 2 Ancient Rules. This really helps out your hand a lot if your hand bricks, which will happen a lot since there's a lot of level 8 monsters in here. But 6 of those level 8 monsters, Ancient Rules will help you out. Blue Eyes and Dragon Spirit of White, they are both, I guess, Blue Eyes is a normal level 8 monster, but Dragon Spirit of White is the fact he's always a normal monster in the hand or graveyard, so you can use Ancient Rules to normal summon one of these two. Just helps you do some summoning. Silver's Cry. Just, again, normal monsters help you. You can just revive your normal monsters. Dragon Spirit of White, again, he's a normal monster while he's in the graveyard. And surprisingly, the secret rare one is cheaper than the common one right now. Isn't that odd? And real important, your Advanced Ritual Art in Chaos form. That's how you get your Blue Eyes Chaos Max. I like this ratio. Advanced Ritual Art, you can get these for pennies. Chaos form's a little expensive, it's about $5, $4, so that's why I only have one on here. And running three Advanced Ritual Arts instead of 1 Chaos form, you could do that, but a lot of the times you're going to end up with Blue Eyes in your hands. And for these to work, you need a Blue Eyes in your deck. So that's why Chaos form is there, just to relieve the one that's in your hand, or you can banish the one in your graveyard. The 1 Melody of Awakening Dragon. This helps search for your Blue Eyes or your Chaos Max. So I just run the 1, and you can search this with King of the D. That's why I don't run 3 of them, because King of the D helps you find this one if you want to go with that route. The 1 Soul Charge, just again revival. And the 1 trap card, Muted Force, because I don't know, it's a pretty good trap card in my opinion. And then real important, Future Fusion, 2 of them. You're probably wondering, since I put Eclipse Wyvern in this deck, how is that going to work? And it's an old combo with Future Fusion. So you're going to activate Future Fusion when you do draw it. And it says during your first standby phase after this card's activation, show 1 fusion monster in your extra deck and then send the fusion materials listed from your main deck to the graveyard. So you have to wait a turn, so you have to activate this, and then in your next turn you can reveal 1 fusion monster, and that fusion monster is going to be your 5-headed dragon. And then you're going to send, and then on your next turn, if this is still in the field hopefully, you can send send 5 dragon monsters to your graveyard. And those 5 will always be an Eclipse Wyvern, a Dragon Spirit, a Keeper of the Shrine, Salt Wyvern, a Whitestone Ancient, and just to round it off, I'm going to do a Dragon Spirit of White. The 5th one's always your choice. You can do Dragon Spirit of White or another Keeper of the Shrine. Because again, like I said, Keeper of the Shrine floats. So you'll send all those and his effect will activate, and that's how you'll search for your red MD. Again, he floats, like I said, Assault Wyvern, just throw him away. And then Whitestone of Ancients, he's a light monster, and his effect, if he gets into the graveyard, he's going to trigger summon a Blue Eyes. And then after that, look, you have light and dark monsters in your graveyard, so you can use your Light Pulsar to banish them. You can always banish your Eclipse Wyvern. Alright, and for the extra deck, let's go ahead and start with that. 5-headed dragon, Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon, number 39 Utopia, Dark Rebellion, Galaxy Stealth Dragon, Azure Eyes, and Thunder End Dragon. And I couldn't really add any more because, like I said, that will put us past budget. But this is pretty much the deck. And like I said, it's the poor man's Blue Eyes White Dragon. And surprisingly, I won a couple duels on my GoPro with it, but like I said, it's a lot slower than the full price $200 Blue Eyes White Dragon deck. But you know, like I said, it's supposed to be as expected. But thank you for watching the video, guys. I appreciate your guys' time. And leave a comment and leave a like if you want. Subscribe if you haven't. And make sure you guys keep tuned with the channel. I'll catch you guys later.